Very few people have ever been to Antarctica. There's no native population there, but there are humans who live there for years. They are researchers at various stations. They follow a very special diet to survive. Adults normally need 1,600 to 3,000 calories daily. But in cold climates, we need more energy to stay warm. In Antarctica, people need 3,200 to 5,000 calories. No food grows there naturally. So what do researchers eat? Antarctica is the coldest, driest, and windiest continent on Earth. Temperatures can drop below -130 degrees Fahrenheit, with no towns or cities. Antarctica has very few permanent residents. Only scientists and support staff live there. They reside in research stations, operated by different nations. Eating well is vital in Antarctica's extreme cold. Fresh produce is hard to get by. All food must be imported. Canned and frozen foods are relied on heavily. Meals feature lots of grains, beans, canned meat, and fish. Comfort foods like mac and cheese are menu staples. Stations stock up on preserved vitamin-rich fruits and vegetables when they can. They also use powdered milk and eggs. Luxuries like fresh fruit, salad, and chocolate disappear quickly. In the extreme cold, the human body burns more calories. It requires 30 to 50% more nutrients. Research stations serve big hearty meals. The average is 4,000 calories per day. Snacks tend to be high protein and non-perishable. Nuts, protein bars, and dried fruits fuel field expeditions. Crackers and spreads offer a quick bite. Sledging biscuits are especially popular. They are dense, crunchy, and high-fat. They contain just 5 ingredients: flour, baking soda, salt, butter, and water. Cow's milk is rare on the ice, but powdered milk and UHT milk allow for cereals, hot drinks, and baking. Butter and hard cheese also store and travel well. Eggs last for months when refrigerated. They fill essential needs in breakfast omelets, baked goods, and quiches. Seafood, especially shellfish, is a staple in Antarctica. Research stations are located near the coast. Rivers and lakes crisscross the icy continent. Fishing in the Southern Ocean once fed early Antarctic explorers. Today's seafood still plays a key role. It is often caught just an hour before mealtime. Pemmican is another vital food in Antarctica. This is a combination of tallow and dried meat. Native Americans invented pemmican centuries ago. Drying meat allowed for longer storage for travel. Pemmican might not look pretty, but its high-fat content fuels the body in harsh conditions. Hoosh is a mix of pemmican, biscuits, and melted ice and broth. It's not very flavorful, but it's filling. No food grows naturally in Antarctica, but greenhouses use indoor lights to grow small crops hydroponically. Plants grow vertically on trays with circulating water. Crops include lettuce, herbs, tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers. The greenhouse supplement ship produce. Coffee and tea are staples in Antarctica. They provide caffeine to fuel long work days. Hot chocolate is also popular. Water sources are limited. There is little rainfall or surface fresh water, so drinking water is produced by melting snow and ice. Beer and wine are allocated sparingly, but stations may get special liquor shipments from home for celebrations. The humans in Antarctica are all alone. They are no longer allowed to have dogs. Huskies once played an important role in Antarctic exploration, but you won't see a single one there today. It may seem strange. Huskies are perfect for cold climates. These dogs can regulate their metabolism. They don't burn up their glycogen and fat reserves. They can run for hours without wearing themselves out. No other dogs are capable of this feat. Huskies were also bred to survive on a meager diet, so they don't need a high-calorie intake. And no, Huskies are not part wolf. They may look wolfish, but genetically they are just dogs. However, they are often used as stand-ins for wolves in movies. Husky ancestors were land race dogs kept by the indigenous peoples of the Arctic. The Chukchi took them to bed to keep warm at night. That's where the phrase, "three-dog night," comes from. But why are they banned in Antarctica? blame the 1991 Protocol on Environmental Protection. It bans all non-indigenous species from Antarctica. Humans are an exception, of course. They wrote the rules. The ban aims to prevent outbreaks of disease. Dogs or other animals may infect local fauna. There are other ways Antarctica feels like a different planet. For example, it has no fixed time zone. Theoretically, Antarctica would be located in all time zones, but research stations often use their own time zones. They're synced to the country that operates the station. More than 70% of our planet is water. About 70% of the Earth's fresh water is found in Antarctica. There are 675 known subglacial lakes. These freshwater lakes are located under glaciers. The largest of them is Lake Vostok. It has a surface of 13,100 square feet. Yet Antarctica is also the world's largest desert. A desert is a region which receives very little precipitation. Antarctica is classified as a polar desert. It's the driest, coldest, and windiest continent on Earth. The dry valleys are an area of very low humidity. There's no snow, ice, or water in any form. Some parts of these valleys haven't seen rain for 2 million years. It's the most Mars-like environment on Earth. Weirdly, Antarctica has the lowest infant mortality rate. It's currently 0. 11 babies have been born on a continent. None of them died in infancy. Antarctica is also home to a ghost mountain range. The Gamburtsev mountain range is huge. It stretches almost 800 miles across the interior of Antarctica. The tallest peaks are around 9,000 feet. However, the entire mountain range is buried beneath the ice. Antarctica expands to twice its size in winter. The ice advances from the continent. It expands by 40,000 square miles per day. This ultimately doubles the size of Antarctica. In the summer, it melts again. Antarctica's most famous spot is the South Pole. It only has one sunrise and one sunset a year. The sunrise is on the September equinox. The sunset comes on the March equinox. The sun is always shining in the summer. In the winter, it's always nighttime. At the South Pole, every direction is north. West Antarctica and East Antarctica are mapped by the prime meridian. It's an imaginary line which passes through Greenwich. Antarctica's ice sheet is immensely heavy. It has caused the land underneath to sink in places. East Antarctica is about 8,200 feet below sea level. Antarctica even has active volcanoes. Mount Erebus is one of the most active volcanoes in the world. It's located on Ross Island, Antarctica. It's home to one of the world's few persistent lava lakes. Erebus is remarkable for its low-level but persistent activity. There's non-human life on the continent too. For example, Antarctica has a bloody waterfall. Blood Falls is named for its blood-red waters. It flows from Taylor Glacier in East Antarctica. The color is caused by iron oxide in the salt water. The unique outflow starts in a subglacial pool. It contains rare bacteria that can metabolize iron. Apart from bacteria, there are some native fish species. Notothenioid fish have antifreeze proteins in their blood. They prevent the fish from freezing solid. Unless you're a researcher, you can't even see Antarctica, not even from a plane, because airplanes don't fly over it. Why not? The first reason is climate. The mean annual temperature in Antarctica is -70 degrees Fahrenheit. Planes rarely land there. De-icing is essential for planes flying in cold weather conditions. It can cost thousands of dollars per session. Antarctica is also subject to constant whiteouts. They can be dangerous for pilots to deal with. There are many requirements for flying in cold weather. They include at least 2 anti-exposure suits on board. Antarctica lacks infrastructure. There are no towers or airports. Flying over it is like flying over the sea, but with low visibility. Polar regions may interfere with navigational tools. Antarctica is very isolated. Communicating with flight controllers would be difficult. There are no established flight paths over Antarctica. Would you like to go there?